We had a little discussion about the session.
Send me mail.
You mean debrief? Yeah, sure. Debrief, yeah. I'm not writing all this stuff on the board. What did we learn today about problem solving that was different than the other days? Okay, Bo, go ahead.
I mean, I like the idea, like exactly. I've used KenKen in my class where I have 8th graders. I had to spend one day going over Sudoku and KenKen. So at the end of the, they get done with the quiz or test early sometimes. They have time to work on it. And I feel like this is something of the problem solving skills. I mean, I think it's very similar. I'm not sure about the difference, but very similar in the aspect of getting to think logically. And that's going to help them in the future no matter what they do mathematically, just the logic of it, trying to figure out. Obviously, we wouldn't give our students some of these more advanced ones at first, but it is a nice, I've done this before, and it's a nice little thing to give kids that, instead when they get done, they're not going to sit there and do nothing. Their tests, they actually have something tangible they can work on that still teaches them math, arithmetic, and all that.
I've got a question about that. When you do that, do you think your students come away with the feeling that, today, what'd you do in math class today? Oh, we just played around. We just played a game. Or are you explicit in saying, hey, listen, we're going to work on logical reasoning skills today?
Well, I started at the beginning of the year, 1 week or 2 weeks on problem solving, kind of something like some of the things we've had here. So this is part of my problem solving week or two just to get them. And you do some fun activities, and kids get real excited about math because a lot of the kids that come to me aren't very excited about 8th grade math.
Bill?
I think that tags on to what he said, made me think of that idea that you're creating something that they can do over a lifetime. It's not, like a lot of the problems we've done this week are just a one-time, kind of seems random situation. But this is something, like you said, kids that are getting into it at the end, maybe this is adults.
Yeah. Anybody else? All right, what's the next question?
What did you learn about teaching problem solving?
Yes, ma'am.
Today was more guided, and at the beginning of this week I thought you needed to leave a lot more time for individual work. But I think I learned a lot more by doing it all together in a guided exercise. So I can think about that as a working strategy, but I really like this today.
To be fair, the guided also gave people the opportunity to completely ignore the guidance and have alone working time if that's what they wanted.
Okay. Well, I thought that this was one of the few times that I've seen a really good facilitation of a whole group. And I think everybody that wanted to be involved in the larger thing felt like their voice could be heard and you could come in and out of it, which I think is a really nuanced way of facilitating.
And it also brings those students that aren't as successful doing it by themselves. It gives them that feeling of success as well.
Yeah.
So when you do that as a group, what would you have done differently? I think everybody's a fan, Tom.
The only thing maybe I would have done differently is just that very first one, maybe not given all the worksheets around, just maybe that very first one. So everybody had it, because I almost missed his really nice hint about the selves, because I did want to start working on some of this other stuff. So it would have kind of forced, if you're trying to make a valid point and getting people to think creatively, then maybe forcing attention just for that very small window. I didn't say anything.
Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
I think stuff like this is kind of a metaphor for life, so to speak. You really have to think through what your next move is going to be before you actually make a move. So I think sometimes, it allows, or logic and problem solving allows for you to slow down and process what your next move is, as opposed to jumping out there and just doing it. So I think, just to be able to predict and see how one move is going to affect another can carry on, regardless if it's math or not. It just carries on, throughout life. I like chess.
And then also, for me, it became really frustrating when Josh gave the hint, because it wasn't the way that I was thinking at all, and it made me try to think in a whole different way, and it became very confusing to me because it wasn't the path that I was on at all. And I think a lot of times we have to be careful as teachers of trying to give hints to help, but if it doesn't fit with the way that the student is thinking, it can actually make it more difficult for the student. So I thought it was great that you kept with your path as opposed to going off with us onto this new path.
That I think too we do that all the time. I know you must have to do it. He has 40 minutes to teach math. I'm still just blown away by that. But we want to rush things because we know we have a certain agenda and we're trying to finish things, and we say, okay, the bell's going to ring or this is going to happen. So let me just tell you the 3 goes here. Now what would you do next? And a lot of times it would just be better for them to fold the puzzle up and say we'll do it again tomorrow,
Right.
and so that they can get the entire, experience. Anybody else got any words of wisdom about the KenKen or the time? Okay.
Thank you.